Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So just a quick news flash on the quest itself, as well as all the different season 3 updates for different changes that just dropped in the game. So first of all, we have the daily quest stuff, which I think a lot of people ask me about, and that is, are we going to get a reset on the daily quest? The answer is no. So you don't want to claim your daily quest before the start of season 3, because right now we are 8 AM GMT plus 8 around my timing, and the daily quest just reset. But for the global players, you guys will still be in the Waves of Intrigue season. So if you claim your daily quest, this season manual will give you the EXP for your Waves of Intrigue season, right? This season essence will also give you the essence for the Waves of Intrigue season, and once you reset into the Chains of Eternity, your daily quest will be claimed, and then you will lose 8 hours of season essence as well as 5 hours of season manual EXP right here. So don't claim it first, because you don't get a reset on this one. Now the next thing will be the hourglasses. So these hourglasses don't reset as well, so like you basically don't get a carryover of these hourglasses into the new season. So don't buy this first, and it's kind of pointless for you to buy this in the Waves of Intrigue season if you're in the Waves of Intrigue season, because even if you were to buy it, it doesn't give you a substantial increase in your levels to warrant for the hourglass usage. Because I think even if you do get like additional levels, it's like 5 or 10 gem max. So like for that amount of gems, you did rather just save it and prepare for Chains of Eternity, which is coming in about, I'll say, like less than 10 hours time from the time this video is released. So that's for the hourglasses as well as the daily quest itself. Now for the daily limit on day 1 for the AFK stage of the Waves Chains of Eternity season itself, the day 1 limit is 250 sages. So for that very first day, most of the old teams like the Mauler teams as well as the Iron Armors teams, they are still very viable to push through the stages really easily. So like I mentioned multiple times across multiple different videos, do push through your AFK stages to the max, which is 250 on day 1, before utilizing your hourglass as well as your daily missions. So this will give you the maximum rewards for your levels for your units, and then from there you will be able to sort of have a faster pacing as compared to the rest of the servers or the other players that are less efficient. So that's for the daily quest as well as the AFK stage side. Now another thing I want to talk about is with regards to twins. So this is actually my VN server account, and I know that I released a video about twins about 2 days back with regards to their buffs, and they got some like last minute changes right here, which I just want to talk about briefly. So I didn't do a twins PSA because I still can't confirm whether or not this is the final change, because let's be honest here, some people mentioned that, hey, it's already on VN server, then there shouldn't be any more changes, right? So I mean, it is true and also not true at the same time, because in any games, right, I've played multiple different gachas before, the difference between a change in value is just a code away. So if there's really a need for them to adjust the values once it comes to global based on feedback, I think there will still be some changes on the units, but I'll just base this discussion for the twins off the VN server, where it's an official server where the twins has already been released. Okay, so first of all, Enhanced Force, they did get a change back from 20% of the higher stats to 15% of the higher stats. So there is a rollback in terms of the Enhanced Force ability, but other than that, I think they didn't actually change too much. Okay, maybe here as well. So increase the energy return to allies from each ultimate cast to 15% of their usual energy used. So previously in the Pioneer server, it's actually 20% here. So they have reverted back to 15%, as well as a drop in the stats gain from Enhanced Force over here. So for twins, I'll say the initial impression is I feel that they are more of a late game character, and they will probably get that Fresto treatment where they might not seem really good at the start, but they probably will scale later into the game, because the stats that they provide is actually really big. And on top of that, they have some of the most important stats in the form of energy gain for you to spam your ultimate, right? For you to cast your defensive skill, your offensive skill, or even your debuffs on the boss more frequently. And at the same time, you actually get a massive haste buff on 2 allies, upwards to 15. right, from this skill alone. So the longer they last in battle, the stronger they become, or the allies become, because the 2 allies, most of the battlefields allows you to link the twins to 2 allies, right? There are some battlefields where you can actually link up to 3 allies or even 4 allies depending on the map layout, but in terms of the buff numbers, in terms of what they can do, is actually quite a huge buff, because the haste buff that they're able to provide is the biggest on the buffing compartment right now. Like if you were to compare Elijah to the likes of, for example, Mikola right here, for example, right? So Mikola gives a 30 haste, as well as some attack percentages if you were to use her for your bossing stuff. And then if you were to compare it to Smokey, for example, Smokey also grants a 30 haste. And then, for example, if you compare it to maybe another haste buffer, I think you can compare to... Okay, I think those are the main few haste buffers right here. Yeah, so there are a few like attack speed buffers like Faye. I don't think Hugin actually grant an attack speed buff or a haste buff. Yeah, so Hugin has a self haste buff, but Hugin is mainly attack. So just based off the haste stats alone, right, 60 haste is pretty much double most of the current haste buffers right now, which is actually quite huge as you move into the late game where your units become a lot stronger. And on top of that, this one, right, 15% of the higher stats to 2 allies is quite big. So this might not be as big as Sonya's 45% if you last throughout the battle itself, but if you factor in the haste buff that they can get, if you factor in all this additional vitality as well as energy gain bonus, and also the stat buff, and also the massive haste buff and the unaffected over here, I think this unit is probably going to be a beast in the late game, at least based on initial assumptions. So that's that, but I'm probably not going to do a PSA for them. Maybe I will, depending on whether or not I can get my hands on the Elijah and Lila to do more testing for the Supreme Plus side. So that's for the Elijah and Lila update. Okay, so this is the latest update that is on the VN server that will probably also drop on the global side. Okay, so if you have seen my previous video, there is another change in terms of the Starball Harmony as well as the Enhanced Force skill. Now, one more thing to talk about with regards to the Chains of Eternity reset is all the Noble Path itself. So right here, we will be getting a brand new Noble Path for the Chains of Eternity season, this season Noble Path over here. So ideally, other than pushing your AFK stages to the maximum level, you also want to keep your missions or your daily quest clears, or all the different missions that you can clear on day 1 here empty, so that you are able to max out the levels for day 1. So this way you can push all the way to maybe level 3 or even level 8 if you're lucky, for you to claim all this season manual for more EXP on day 1 reset itself. So that's for all the AFK stages, the missions, as well as the day 1 stuff to take note of. And that's pretty much it for this video, the quick update for the upcoming season 3 reset. And hope you guys have a happy grinding on day 1, and remember to enjoy season 3 storyline itself. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.